Welcome to the Wynn Show, where everybody comes to win. I'm your hostess, Wynn Godbold, and we hope that in watching these interviews, you will be inspired to take action on making your impact in the world. Remember, nothing is impossible. The very word says, I'm possible. Enjoy the show. Welcome to another edition of the Wynn Show, where everybody comes to win. Today we have a really special treat for you because I am here on site at bFive40. Now you might be thinking, what does that even mean, Wynn? You're in for a huge treat as you get to meet Donna Brin, who is the founder and owner of bFive40. And what we have in between us right here is actually her first product that you designed and took to market, right, which is called the
bFive40.
bFive40, yes. There we go, see? So we're going to have a really great conversation today about the starting of a business, being a woman entrepreneur, you know, who inspired you. We just want to know it all, Donna. So hold back nothing. It's just conversation. But the purpose of the Wynn Show and why people come here to watch is because our viewers have that call. Typically, there's something going on that keeps coming up in their life and they're thinking, I don't know. Am I really the person who's supposed to do this? And so we love to give them people like you who are normal, regular mom of 2 kids, right? And making a difference. And particularly that your products and what you do make a difference in the community and in the environment, I know. So we want to hear from you about that. But kind of that's why they're watching. They want to see in you something that they can latch on to and say, all right, if Donna can, man, I can too. So you ready for that?
I'm ready.
Super. So explain to us, because the bFive40 name has an interesting story to it and the bFive40. So just tell us, like, what is bFive40?
Okay.
And how do you start?
Let me start off with the beginning of it, which is with bFive40.
Okay.
So bFive40 is it's a pop-up inflatable punching bag with a fabric covering. It's an inflatable with a fabric covering that slips over the top, and the fabric covering is customizable. We began back in 2014 with accounts with Walmart and buybuy BABY and Amazon, and we were selling in some specialty retailers. And a couple of years later into the business, we started getting calls from creative agencies asking us if they could use our pop-up inflatable for promotional purposes. An avenue that I had never even contemplated. So with that, we found our place in advertising signage, because it's in a sense kind of like moving signage. And the ability to take the cover off and customize it allows you to do multiple campaigns. And so we began outsourcing all of our production, and then we realized very quickly in dealing with Fortune 500 companies that we needed to have control of that quality, and so we wanted to bring it all in-house. So we invested in the technology. We have 2 different types of print technology. We have dye sublimation, which is digital printing, and then we also have latex printing. So now, in addition to the inflatables, we're doing tents and flags and banners and pop-up displays, and there's a lot of different things that we can do with the technology that we have invested in. And we have a full sewing staff that helps to bring everything together. So that is kind of a nutshell. So let me tell you about the name bFive40. We are a company all about imagery. And so a circle is 360 degrees, but it's a 2-dimensional flat shape.
Right. Okay.
So when an object breaks the plane and becomes 3-dimensional, it does so at 540. So we like to say that we are adding depth to the experience that a customer has with our products.
Love that, bFive40. I get it now. Okay. I'm gonna take you backwards just for a minute because I want to digest a little bit. Because it sounds like, oh, I just created this bFive40 and then I went to Walmart and I was selling them, right? And we know that there's a lot that comes before we just go to Walmart and sell our stuff, right? Yeah. So what inspired you? Like, how did this even, and right before we even answered the inspiration piece, let me make sure, like I just want to clarify for our viewers who are not having the opportunity to feel this, right? This is that pop-up, it's in the inside, it's a plastic inflatable piece, right? Is it plastic? Okay.
Yeah, it's actually, it's made of not PVC, which is the typical inflatable.
Okay.
It's made out of polyurethane, and polyurethane is a more earth-friendly alternative, and it is so much more durable. So it's a heat seal process, how this, and if I get too technical, just let me know, but I'll show you how the cover comes off.
Okay.
And this is the inflatable.
This is the naked inflatable.
This is the naked inflatable.
I almost feel like we're doing something bad here. Okay.
Don't let your mind wander.
You never know what you're getting on the Wynn Show.
So this is the actual inflatable piece, which is fabricated in Rock Hill, South Carolina. That's our production partner. So we keep everything in South Carolina.
That's awesome.
And this is what we make here. This is the fabric covering that's made out of 100% polyester, and we also incorporate recycled fibers. So, but with the inflatable, it's not PVC, which is horrible for the environment. It's polyurethane, and that's the same material an air mattress is made out of, which is super, super durable. So that's why we offer a 1-year warranty with the product. And so,
So I have to say, when I was a little girl, I had one of those, like a pop-up, a clown, that you could punch it and it would come back to you, right?
Right.
And I remember when the seam on it split.
Right.
And that was the end of my clown, because there just was no patching it. And it was really like, I was so sad about that as a young person, you know?
Yep.
So really, this is my clown made better, right?
And that is exactly how the product and the idea came to life.
Oh my
gosh, I have two boys with a tremendous amount of energy. And we were living in Brooklyn, New York. And it was a lot of, cold weather, long winter season, and we're stuck in the house, and what do we do? And I remember pop-up inflatables from when I was a kid. Anyway, my husband came home with a Marvel Comics pop-up. Bright neon yellow in the middle of my beautiful living room. Kind of like an eyesore, not loving that.
Right.
So then I said to myself, let's make a cover to go over the top of it, and let's just see what it looks like. We can, make different animals and do different, and that was the idea. So I took a piece of fabric. I think it was a sheet, and went down to our local tailor, and they made the cover for me, and I was like, okay, this could be something. So I took that and hooked up with a creative genius, Nick Baroche, who is our now is our chief marketing officer. Nick is the creative genius behind all of our branding, and anyway, he came up with these 3 characters: a bear, an elephant, and a penguin. And we took those characters and put them on the cover, and then I went to the International Toy Show in Jacob Javits Center in Manhattan in 2012 and sold 500 of them in 3 days. And then it took me 8 months to produce it, and there is where the real learning curve began. Because yes, I didn't just walk into Walmart and say, hey, would you like to buy my product? Oh, that's great, I'm going to put you on the shelves right away. It didn't work that way. It was a total, it was 8 to 10 months of learning everything there was to know about the marketing side and about the manufacturing side, and there were so many mistakes. Fail, fail, fail. That's what I mean, it was just crazy. One failure after another, but tremendous learning experiences along the way. And that's where, when we started to get traction, it all started to come together.
Oh my gosh. So like 100 things, but I don't want to stop you when you get on that roll. I'm just like, oh, tell me more. But let's dissect a few things. First off, I'm having a new market idea for you, which is in the exercise venue, that you could have a beautiful bonk fit that is part of your living room decor, but yet it's your exercise, right? You can make a routine with it and how you work it. Okay, so
it's kind of like a Peloton. Just have it off on the side in the living room. It looks cool.
Yes. And it's customized to your furnishings, and we'll do these beautiful fabrics. And so I'm just thinking there's a whole nother market here. But I love, because mother necessity, how do we have anything in this world? It's because we need something. And so here's Marvel superhero, neon yellow, not working for you. You go to your tailor, you make the cover. The tailor makes the cover for you.
Then we came up with a couple of ideas on the designs, and the animals seem to make sense because it's almost like a kid's playmate.
Yeah. So when you come back from the show with an order to fill for 500 bonk fits, well, at the time they were eco bonks, right?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we'll talk about that for just a second. But you come home and you're like, oh, I need 500 of these. What do? Do you go back to the tailor? Did you start sewing? I mean, what the heck?
We actually already had that all lined up, but the learning process was actually in the execution.
Okay.
So I spent probably a solid 12 months prior to going to the show lining up the inflatable manufacturer, the printer, and the sewing and the packaging. And so we went to the trade show with a full 10 by 10 booth, and we sold a ghost.
I love that expression.
That's what it is, though. In entrepreneurialism, you have to be able to have full confidence in your product and also be prepared to execute. And manufacturing is hard. And it was, like I said, there were a lot of bumps along the way. However, we made it happen, but it wasn't smooth. And it wasn't 500 units with one customer. We had filled, it was a number of different specialty toy retailers, throughout the country that attended the show.
Yeah.
And we lost almost half of the orders because they went to delivery too late. So we were supposed to deliver in June, then September, and then of course holidays come and nobody wanted them after October. So, well, not nobody, half of them didn't get sold. But we took the inventory in and we had to shift gears, and I needed to figure out how to make it work, which is another thing you need to have, which is a really strong part of being a good entrepreneur, is being nimble and flexible and knowing how to roll with the punches, because not everything is going to execute the way you want it to. I had a 100-page business plan, and I mean, how many times I had rewritten that, and you just, at the end of the day, you just got to get out there and take the chance and make it happen.
Oh my gosh! So let me ask you a couple questions about that. That right there is the heart of inspiration for folks, because so many times people, they caught up in the 100-page business plan, and I've written it 100 times, and what do I do?
Yeah.
But the reality is it's going to hit the fan, and you just have to be able to pick it up and go again.
Yeah, and you have to know that. And if it's not hitting the fan, then you're not taking enough risk. you need to, I mean, it's all part of it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I said before about failing. I mean, it stinks. I mean, it doesn't feel good. It's crazy. But at the end of the day, though, if you're not taking those chances, then you're not doing everything that you can be doing to better the business and better yourself. I mean, at the end of the day, it's what we all really want, right? Just be successful and make a difference, and be an inspiration and make money.
Absolutely, because it's an exchange, right? We've got to be able to buy the things and to produce the things to make people's lives different. So I like to think about whenever if you're going to make a big pot of success soup or something, right? The first thing you have to pour in is the huge can of failure.
Yeah.
Because the failure becomes the curriculum that teaches you the lesson to be the success. If you don't have the failure, you don't have a lesson to learn.
That's right.
So then your success is actually sort of, tamped down a little bit. The other thing that comes to mind when you were talking was just the sheer fact that there's nothing like owning a business and having your ass on the line to cause you to dig into the deep resources and do more, be more than you've ever been before. If it all goes smoothly, what'd you grow, right? But I bet you're a different person now than you were when you started this whole thing.
Yes,
Have you done some things that you never thought you'd do?
Yeah, pretty much everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I would have ever, I don't have a background in manufacturing at all. So, that was, there were, like I said, a lot of lessons learned, but now I could never picture myself doing anything else. And the expansion of it is just so satisfying. The evolution, watching it grow. For the first couple of years, we were just doing the pop-up inflatable because I really wanted to stay focused on establishing that sales channel and getting, steady cash flow and allowing that to kind of fuel growth.
Yes.
And it's working.
When's the last time you looked at that 100-page business plan?
2015.
Just keeping it real here.
And that's not to say that it wasn't useful.
Right.
You know, I mean, 100 pages, not so much, but
overachiever, maybe.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had just finished an MBA, and I was at the point where I needed to, get it, I think, out of my system and onto paper. But how many things changed along the way is just mind-boggling. And I would have never thought promotional products going into the advertising signage realm would have been, possible 5 years ago. When we started off as a punching bag, my idea was to go, and expand into children's toys, which is a very saturated market. And I quickly realized that it's very difficult to get shelf space. And, although we are working with Walmart, we work with .com, and I don't fight for shelf space. I am a unique product that goes to market online, which is where a lot of the sales are moving anyway. So
oh yeah, definitely. Because from the beginning, the care for the environment has been a big deal. And you even said, like, when we looked at this, you're like, this is not PVC.
Yeah.
So talk to us about that.
It is part of it. I mean, so I think that I developed my fascination with recycled products and recyclability when I became a mom. I feel like so many things change when you become a mom, right? Because you're sharing yourself and you're, thinking about things outside of you. And so, I did the cloth diapering, and I was living in Brooklyn, and we were, doing all that, earth-friendly, let's be conscious about what we're putting into our bodies and what we're putting into the atmosphere. And when we launched EcoBonk, the idea was to create a better version of an old school toy and make put an earth-friendly spin on it. And we wound up transitioning away from EcoBonk and becoming BonkFit. We wanted to feature the fitness aspect. Because frankly, it wasn't well perceived. People weren't willing to put their money where their mouth is when it comes to investing in a more expensive product that's better for the environment.
A lot has changed.
A lot has changed, and that was, we're talking 2013, and now here we are 7 years later, and things have changed. But along the way, I've always kept some aspect of recycling or recyclability in the product lines that we are producing. We may not be forward with it, but it always is there because I do want to make a difference. And so some of the things that we are doing now that make a difference with bFive40, so our digital technology, our dye sublimation process is a two-step process. It requires paper that gets printed with an image, it gets fed through a machine, and the machine transfers the ink on the paper to the fabric. And that's what makes the digital prints that you see on our BonkFit and that you see on, tents and flags and anything else that we produce. Our offtake or our byproduct is the paper. And there are these beautiful long, rolls of 50 yards of 60 inches wide paper that is substantial paper that can be used. So Horry County school districts send over their art teachers, and they pick up the paper periodically and reuse that paper in the classrooms for drawing projects and also for stage set decoration. And so that reuse, instead of that paper being thrown into the trash can, it's getting reused, which is wonderful.
I love that piece. And because that the paper's getting reused, but all of those students know the story behind the paper.
That's right.
As well. And so without it being a lesson that we're teaching you in, being eco-friendly, right, or being responsible, they're experiencing and they're living it, and it's just part of the conversation.
It's real life. It's happening.
Yeah, so there's a huge impact in all of the children, and Horry County's a big school system.
Yes, it is.
And so you're
really
over
80 teachers that come. Yeah,
you're touching a lot of lives.
Yeah, it's great. So we've got that aspect, and then also with bFive40, I mean, one of our biggest pushes is working with Fortune 500 companies, corporations that want to and can make a difference in substituting the products that they use with recycled goods. So I'll give you an example.
Oh,
yeah. So
okay.
Automobile manufacturers. So we're working right now with a major automobile company that is looking to replace their work gloves and shop rags away from virgin materials and utilizing recycled materials in place. And in doing so, annually would divert 85 million plastic water bottles out of our oceans. Mind-boggling, right? So we are a printer and a fabricator, so we can help them to bring that product to market and substitute out. And now let me also tell you, so we have a partnership with Unify, and Unify is the world's leading recycled fiber provider, and they're located in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Close to home.
Yep.
Okay. We love Carolinas.
Yeah, so in the Carolinas, where a lot of our, I feel like we have a really good carbon footprint and network. So working with Unify, we are exploring this opportunity and coming up with the alternative product in a recycled aspect to bring to market for them.
Okay, so I got a little confused.
Okay.
I want to straighten this out.
Okay.
The car manufacturer is looking to replace work gloves and the rags.
Yep, that they use
in the manufacturing process, protect my hands while I'm doing my job.
Right.
Okay. Your part of that would be to produce those products
for them using recycled fabrics.
Using recycled fabrics.
And those recycled fabrics come through Unify.
And the fabric is made of the 85 million water bottles. Is that right? Okay. So I got lost at sea for a minute. I was like, oh my gosh,
I don't blame
85
you.
million water bottles not in our
pretty
oceans.
quick.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we were talking about gloves and rags, and I was like, wait a minute, I just missed something.
Yep.
So so Unify would make the fabric out of the bottles, and then you would actually make the products.
All right, so let me take a
for them.
step.
Is that right?
There's one more step in that.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay. So Unify owns or has the technology to collect the bottles, turn them into flake, break them down, turn them into flake, and then extrude them into fibers. That's Unify's position. That's their job. And what they do is line up the fabric mills that will then take delivery of the fibers.
Okay.
And then the fibers are then made into textile products, into fabric rolls like you see all around our facility.
Yes.
One of their more popular brands is called Reprieve, and Reprieve is made out of, it's 100% polyester, derived from recycled plastic water bottles that come from the oceans or wherever they source them. They go to recycled centers, and anyway, we purchase that raw material, those fabric rolls, from fabric mills that Unify works with. And then in having that inventory, now with our sewing staff, and whether it gets printed or not is besides the fact, we can produce work gloves and shop rags and all different types of products that can then be sold as alternatives to major corporations to allow them to tell their sustainability story. And so the story that we were just talking about with that one major automobile maker, 85 million water bottles diverted from oceans, which translates into a 30% reduction in emissions, 20% reduction in water consumption. I mean, the statistics are amazing. And through Unify, we can give them this impact reporting so that they can tell their recycled story to shareholders. So that is a big area of focus for us. I'm very active with WeBank, WBENC, which is a women's, it's one of the leading women's certification agencies. And I'm on their voice committee. And that is bringing a voice to women in the South. And anyway, through WeBank, I get a tremendous network of Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 1000 companies, the ability to have one-on-one conversations and begin exploring ideas like this, and that's through WeBank. So I want to give a shout out to WeBank.
For sure. Here's something, we may not want to go like down this rabbit hole, but just the surface layer of, for, let's say, staying with our example of the automobile manufacturer, for them to use these products that would be, from the recycled materials, is the cost, how elevated is the cost as opposed to just going and buying rags that are not, I get the benefit
Yep.
that they're getting from it.
Yep.
But is the cost becoming something that now, instead of being this big, it's this much more? Is it now, well, it's only this much more? And so, okay, well, we're willing to put the cost forward for these products. Are you finding a
It's
change?
surprisingly comparable.
Oh, wow.
Which is
Okay,
mind-blowing,
good news.
right?
Yeah.
It's surprisingly comparable. And it's a complicated answer of why, but I can give you an example. So think of a major retailer like a Walmart.
Okay.
They use, I'm going to go for a signage example because it's the easiest one for me to explain.
We like easy.
Yeah, they use, in their stores, they have, these departmental distinguishing signs, 3x5 signs. They're called hanging signs, and you'll see
like ladies
dresses
or houseware.
ladies or
Okay.
housewares or whatever.
Yeah.
So those are all
Or
done
men's.
on,
Although we don't want to leave the men out.
those are all done on ultra board, and ultra board is very hazardous to the environment, and it's kind of like that poster foam board interior,
Yeah.
and it's a very labor-intensive print process. But that's typically what they use.
Okay.
And for, you're talking about, 4,500 stores nationwide. If we replaced those ultra boards with a fabric overlay over a frame, very similar to what a tent would be like, right? But it's just think of like a rectangular frame, lightweight frame, and slip sort of like a pillowcase over it. Sewn.
Yeah.
The impact environmentally is just astronomical. I mean, you're talking about millions and millions of water bottles diverted in not using the ultra board and replacing it with the fabric alternative over the frame.
Over the frame.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, so you were asking me about the cost.
Yeah.
The ultra board is really expensive to ship, and it's big. It doesn't fold down, and it needs to be packed very carefully because it's a very sensitive, ding-worthy type of substance.
Right.
A tent-like mechanism folds down. It's a fabric sleeve. Installation is just as easy, and so that's one avenue that we're walking down now.
Okay, so now I can kind of see where we begin to be more of a comparable pricing. There is a lot of extras that go to it. It's not just sign for sign.
Savings. Yeah,
There's
it's the
a lot
savings on
there.
in that example. It's the savings on the shipping side
Okay.
to get it out to all those different stores.
So, and this is the creative thinking. I love this piece because this is thinking outside about how do we really make it, because what's important to you is the footprint, being responsible, and there's so many ways we can if we're just willing to spend a minute to think about it.
Right.
And to get a little creative. Who knew?
Who knew? An inflatable punching bag would turn into ultra board replacement.
Yeah. In all the products that you do, because this is your heart, right? You have also been recognized here. We're in Little River, South Carolina, and you've been recognized by the Horry County Solid Waste Authority, and I'm going to look down and make sure we get this right because Spotlight on Environmental Awareness Award. So what was that selection like? And what did that say to you to receive that?
It was pretty exciting.
To be recognized.
Yeah, it was, I didn't expect it. I was very excited. The representative came in to review our facility and understand more about our production process.
Okay.
And with our reuse program established with Horry County School District, going through everything that makes up, and then understanding our mission to be zero waste, that was, I guess, enough to honor us in July of 2019. So we were really excited, and yeah, we've got that plaque up on the wall, and it's something to live by. It's so important, and people don't realize. If you imagine a crystal clear evening sky and all the stars that you can see on a beautiful bright night, that's the amount of plastic particles that exists in our oceans today. It's mind-blowing, and people don't realize, but when you think about it, that analogy, you can realize, we need to be doing something about it. I mean, I'm a mother, So many of us are, and
Yeah.
you know, it's sad for them not to have a future. And we've done a number on the environment with our plastics. So it's more than giving back. It's about really making impact. And you know, coming up with the punching bag toy and being able to bring that to market, that was exciting. And you know, it followed along with everything that I believe in terms of the recycled aspect.
Right.
But where we really make the impact is dealing with the corporations and getting them to put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
And tell their sustainability story and substitute out some of the virgin materials that they're using that are harmful to the environment, and make a difference, a big difference.
Yeah, yeah. As I could sit and talk with you all day long. Like I have 500 more questions. You were kind enough to let us see your facility and sort of walk us through the process when we first got here, which was amazing. And you're amazing. I'm going to ask this one other question. Okay, so you showed us when we were touring, you showed us a picture of your grandmother's sewing operation.
Yep.
Okay, in New York, and you said it was from 1912.
Yeah,
Is that
so
right?
it's my great grandmother.
Your great grandmother.
Yeah, so my great grandma Lily is definitely an inspiration. I was blessed enough to know her as a child, and yeah, I used to sit and crochet with her. She was always correcting my posture. She's a great lady. And anyway, she had a sewing operation in 1912 and in the Bronx. And her biggest client was Lord & Taylor, and she was a seamstress. And I have a picture of her facility honoring it up on our wall, which is, yeah, I mean, who would have ever thought that I would have a sewing operation? It's just crazy the way that it all comes back around again. But anyway, my great-grandma definitely is an inspiration, and so.
We see that in so many of our guests. There's a thumbprint from someone in their life. And like you, some of them didn't know at the time where they were going, obviously, but they have that experience with a person from their childhood who instilled some value in them and who made a difference there. So I think it's really cool to think of you having a sewing operation and seeing that picture, and you know, kind of the nut doesn't fall far from the tree, you know. But I'm sure that she would be so proud of you today as a woman-owned business, to be sharing as part of the voice for women through WeBank, to be environmentally conscious, and to be making not just your product that is, but pushing, like you said, for the big impact through those Fortune 500 companies and really making a difference for all of us. I want to give you, in the last few minutes here, like I said, I could talk to you for hours, but you also have a business to run. But I want to give you a chance to do two things. One is to just look to our people, and knowing that there may be someone watching this video of you who's thinking, holy moly, I don't know, like, she's done so much, and just encourage them,
Right.
okay, based on your experiences. And then the other thing I want you to do is just to flat out give a wholehearted promotional pitch for, you know, here's the big sale right now, come and buy one of these from us, everybody needs one.
Right.
Okay, I want you to just like really give the promo.
Okay.
So inspire us, and then promo like crazy, and then we'll wrap up our time together.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, I guess a few nuggets that I would love to share as a woman entrepreneur. One is sales. Without it, you're not going to make it. So sales, you have to be sales forward. You need to figure out how you're going to sell your product, what distribution channels are going to work for you, and sell the ghost, sell it. Just sell it, get your cash flow, and sell it. And then that's the second nugget is cash flow is king, or queen.
Yeah, queen.
And what I mean by that is, as soon as you're able to establish your sales track record, go get your banking relationship, go get your line of credit, get it all when you don't need it, because when you do need it is when you're going to have a hard time getting it. So make sure that you've
That's gold.
get that banking relationship in place, because it becomes a very difficult process to manage cash flow, especially in the beginning. You're always needing more, and those lines of credit are really important, and especially at a good, reasonable interest rate, and demonstrated sales track record to lean on gets you that good interest rate today for when you need it tomorrow. So that's a good one.
That is a very good
What else? Oh, my sales promo, was that enough?
Yeah. Those
okay.
were two huge nuggets. Those are great things for people to bounce off of and to stand on top of. So now just promo.
Okay.
bFive40, baby.
Promo. Okay. My name is Donna Brin, and I am the founder of bFive40. And we are a full-service printer and fabricator of advertising signage and promotional products and branded apparel and other custom products. And we are very excited to be located here in Little River, South Carolina. Our main focus is utilizing recycled substrates as part of our production process. And I don't know what else.
And if we needed a bunk fit or a tent, where would we go to find you? Tell us your website.
So the website is bFive40, and it's B and then the word 5, FIVE40.com. And that is our B2B website, and that is for showcasing all of the amazing event-driven signage and products that we create. And then our inflatable punching bag is BonkFit, and BonkFit is BONKFIT.com, and that's our pop-up inflatable. And we have a whole bunch of stock designs available, and then you can also customize them, upload a photo, and create a really fun gag gift. So we do a lot of that for, like, milestone birthdays, and we've gotten some really crazy stuff actually. But it's super fun and different, and so that's BonkFit.
That's awesome. So I know you've enjoyed Donna. There's just no question of that. I don't even say if you've enjoyed Donna today and want to learn more, because I know that you have. I'm super inspired by just being here, seeing the work that you've done, hearing some of your story. We want to encourage you, if there's something that's inside of you that you're thinking, I have an idea, or my kid brought something home, or there's something in my living room, right, that could be done better. Look at where it can lead to. Start small, grow it big, right?
And don't worry.
There's worry.
There's so many things that are going to go wrong along the way. Yeah. And if they aren't going wrong, it means you're probably not taking enough risk. So
love that.
It's important to make those mistakes and to just do it. Just do it.
Yeah, get out there and make it happen. Be sure to check out bFive40 and Donna and the BonkFit as well. And we will be glad to see you on another episode of The Wynn Show. Y'all have a great afternoon.
Bye.
Thank you for watching this episode of The Wynn Show. This is Wynn, and I'm inviting you to discover what's possible in your life by joining me in the I'm Possible Discovery program. You can find all the details at bsharp.us/join.